and let us all do we can to build a better future.
Vote blue, no matter who. That's right. We're going to be talking about this liberal madness, okay? Everyone seems to be angry and hyped up about Donald Trump going to trial. Everyone is saying, this is it. The walls are closing in. This is it. Trump's going to be held accountable. Trump is the enemy of our time. He is the great villain. To which I have to say, how? How is he any different than any other politician? Dare I say it, controversial statement, but there are politicians currently in power that are far worse than Donald Trump. We have politicians who've been in power for decades, who have been the architects of this neoliberal system that allowed Trump to be a parasite and take advantage of this neoliberal economy. You know, I think a lot of people tend to forget that Trump didn't just walk in and just say, hey, here I am. This political environment that we are currently living in was built for somebody like Trump to take advantage of. Trump used to be a Democrat. Now he's a Republican. Trump knows all these people in Washington, D.C., and he has been the most transparent president I think we have ever seen in our lifetime. No, this is not an endorsement of Trump, but let's face it. In a skit on Saturday Night Live, Dave Chappelle called it as it is. When Trump was confronted about the election, that the Democrats commit election fraud and that this whole system is rigged, when asked why, when the moderator asked Trump why, Trump said, it's because I use it. He told everybody how the system works. And yes, I repeat this story over and over again, but everyone seems to have forgotten the most transparent moment in American politics ever, and that was in the first Republican primary debate in which money in politics was brought up, and Trump said these words that have been forgotten by the American people and the corporate media, and that is, I give these people money, and they do what I say. This is the truth of it. Everybody knows it. We have a corrupt system. But Trump said the truth. We give these people money. I give these people money, and they do what I say. And he was talking about the Republican lawmakers, but guess what? He gave money to Democratic lawmakers as well. You know Sam Bankman-Fried? That guy? I played a video on the show a few months ago where he talked about openly giving money to Democratic politicians. But in the background, in secrecy, he also gave money to Republican lawmakers. But yet the quote-unquote resistant liberals, people who want to stop Trump, fail to take in any accountability in the fact of who Trump is. And all these protests, all these activists, all these people dusting out their walking shoes are technically irrelevant. They would be non-existent were it not for Trump. I said this on Jimmy's show. I said this on Nick's show on RBN on Saturday. Trump is the biggest job producer in the activist community and the social justice warrior industrial complex. He's given these people a meaning in their meaningless lives. And so that's where I have to shout out to Dissidence. We're going to have them on the show next week. They're going to be joining us. But folks, this is the resistance. We asked resistance liberals at Trump's arrangement if Bush should be prosecuted next. It didn't go well. You've seen this video, but all of you have to see it as well, again, because this is what's holding back any kind of real change, because there's always this double standard. Look, folks, everyone's praising Bush Jr. now because he was rehabilitated because Ellen DeGeneres was dancing next to him and Michelle Obama was giving him a whole bunch of hugs. Isn't that fascinating? Isn't that hilarious? Mark my words. Mark my words. If Trump walks away from this trial and everything else, there will be a point where the media and the system will rehabilitate his image as well. Some Ellen DeGeneres-like talk show host is going to be doing a little dance with Trump, and everything's going to be squared away, and even he will be rehabilitated.
Will be found guilty?
If justice is served, he sure will be, for this and all the other crimes that he's accused of.
So do you think we should arrest George Bush next?
Why? What is about this? What's this whataboutism? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, but should we? I mean, if we're going to hold people accountable.
You know better than that?
You don't think we should?
I'm not going to be baited by you. I don't care what you think.
Okay, so you don't think we should arrest George Bush for war crimes?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. What do you think? Do you feel that he should be arrested?
If a grand jury of average New Yorkers indicts him, then he should be arrested.
Exactly.
Well, you know, Michelle Obama called her partner in crime.
Oh, you're going after a black woman now, of course, because you're clearly a white supremacist.
So do you think that's why?
So you have to demonize the black woman, try to get her point of crime.
So if you,
I guess you have a lot
if you criticize Candace Owens, you're a white supremacist?
And you're on this.
What if you criticize Candace Owens?
Is universally respected, whereas Candace Owens is a pathetic sister.
Right. What if you
Sorry you have to hear that, but look, there's a bigger problem here, and that is, you know, when it comes down to politics, and you ask somebody to draw what a Republican supporter or Democratic supporter looks like. I mean, let's face it, there are people all across this country, and I said this before, that have been successfully brainwashed by the two-party system. And so that means you're going to have people of various different backgrounds and social standings that will support either of the two-party systems, be they the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. Now, again, there are Trump supporters who come from a whole range of backgrounds. They're just not all white supporters. There's a whole lot of people there. Now, I know more and more Americans are identifying themselves as independents, but due to the fact that we have such harsh draconian laws that stop third parties and independents from being on the ballot and on the debate stage, be it for state or federal elections, we have to realize that if we are going to be holding these politicians accountable, including Trump, because yes, Trump is a scumbag politician, all of them must be held accountable for their crimes. The Bush administration, with Dick Cheney and all of their underlings, led us into the disastrous war in Iraq. All of corporate media and the two-party system were saying with absolute confidence and belief that there were WMDs in Iraq. There were no WMDs in Iraq. We know this now. That's a lie. It is a true lie. Under Bush Jr.'s administration, but hell, under other previous administrations as well, the Clinton administration, Bush Sr., and starting with good old Ronnie Boy Reagan, Wall Street, big banks, and corporations were helping implement a system, an economic system, that would lead to the eventual demise of the middle class, thanks to the help of both Democratic and Republican lawmakers that soon became, well, the underlings to the top 1%. There are many presidential administrations and people in positions of power that must be held accountable for the pain and suffering that the people are going through. Under Obama's administration, we were told to look forward, not past. No one was held accountable for 2008 economic collapse. No one from the Bush-Cheney administration were held accountable for the lies that led us into the disastrous war of Iraq. Under Obama's administration, whistleblowers were arrested and detained. We got rid of habeas corpus, went from 2 wars to 7. Obviously, the kids in cages, that was going on under Obama's administration. Continue on through Trump. Hey, listen, Trump being the guy who he is, I have to say he can use this excuse. All this stuff that we're seeing now, all this stuff that people are talking about, it was like that when he got there. He can use that statement. Now, did he do anything to make our lives better? No, he didn't. But Trump didn't create those cages. Trump didn't create this neoliberal system. He took advantage of it. And yes, he contributed to the further pain that working class citizens have to go through. But then we get the Biden-Harris administration, a Democratic administration, where again, Roe v. Wade died under his watch. And again, the kids are still in cages. And a lot of other Trump's foreign and domestic policies are still continuing on under the Biden-Harris administration. This is something that a lot of vote blue, no matter who people have to come to terms with. And that is Democratic lawmakers are just as bad as Trump. Hell, there are people worse than Trump.
This is what happens when you ask these people questions. They cannot answer. Well, this is a public place. I can do whatever I want.
I'm just going to ask you to take a step back.
Well, you have no right to do that.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
You're in my space, and I'm going to ask you.
You're in my space.
I'm
I'm not in your space.
Get out of our space.
I asked if we should arrest George Bush. They went crazy. I guess they like George Bush. Are you guys Republicans? Are you Republicans? Like, why do you not want to arrest George Bush? You know what? That sounds smarter than you do.
Ha!
So, do you think we should arrest George Bush? No? No answers on that? You don't know if we should arrest George Bush? You're not sure?
But I understand. I understand why a lot of these people are. I'm not going to vilify them. I won't. I feel sorry for them because, yeah, they don't like Trump. I get that. That's their right to think this way. But going after Trump, and let's say Trump is arrested or he can't run, that's not going to stop somebody else worse than Trump from coming into office. And the thing is, when we say, do we have a democracy? Do we have a republic? The answer is no. And our politicians can be easily bought, including Democratic lawmakers. Then all this protesting we're seeing is nothing more than performative art. You know, when I had Connor Dorr on the show last year, where he covered a protest against big fossil fuel industries polluting our environments, you know, I was watching that footage too, and all what the activists were doing, they said a few words, there was a dance number, and then that was it. This is all performative art at this point. And I've even said this story too on my show as well, when we were covering, when Harlan's Media was starting off, when we were covering protests in 2017, 2018, activists and organizers would be starting at the Daily Center or the Federal Plaza, and then they would march to Trump Tower, which is across the river. And I remember one time stepping out of line and getting a wide shot of the crowd, and I'm seeing them being herded into this caged area that this CPD set up, the Chicago Police Department set up. Gone are the days of Malcolm X and Dr. King really leading a protest and calling for change, because I can never see Malcolm X leading his followers into a controlled area that was set up by the police department where the organizers could speak, because that makes no goddamn sense. It's all performative art. But if this gives people meaning in their meaningless lives, fine. But that won't stop somebody else like Trump rising up, because the system is set up for somebody like Trump to take advantage of.
You know, Michelle Obama called him her partner in crime. I think she was saying, let's arrest him. Are we arresting George Bush next? I hope so. He's guilty of war crimes. Do we care about that? So so honest question, should we arrest George Bush?
Again, and again, we're going to have Do Dissidence on the show on April 18th. Tune in for that. I have to say this again, 2024, I'm dreading it. It's going to be another dreadful year on this planet called Earth. But we're going to see again, everyone with Trump derangement syndrome come out in droves. And to my audience, I ask you to have infinite patience. I ask you, yes, to take the higher ground. But what I mean higher ground is just don't take the punches. Educate yourselves, again, about the electoral system in your state, but also at the federal level, because so many people are going to be coming at you for saying, how dare you support independents and third parties, or how dare you choose not to vote? Because, again, it is up to you. However which way you want to participate in the 2024 election cycle, that's your prerogative. That's your choice. I'm not going to tell you what to do. That's not the purpose of this show. You're going to have to make your own choice and your own decisions. But so many people who have Trump derangement syndrome are going to be coming out telling you we have to stop Trump because fascism, and Trump is Hitler 2.0, and Trump is the great big bad guy. That's not the fight. The fight is the fact that we have politicians currently in office to help create an environment for people like Trump to rise up and to be in our system. And this whole trial of Trump is one big distraction. The people in East Palestine, Ohio, are still being affected with the aftermath of that train derailment. There's still lead in Chicago's drinking water, in Flint, Michigan's drinking water. There are so many communities that are being polluted in the air, soil, water. There's an uptick, and again, in medical bankruptcies. We have student debt that's rising out of control. We have politicians doing insider trading. We have money for the military-industrial complex. We got money to bail out banks and Wall Street executives. The problems are being ignored, but yet the media is quick to use this distraction of Trump to keep people in their place. You have to question everything. And unfortunately, that also means for a lot of people who are brainwashed and supporting Democrats or Republicans, it's our task to kind of wake people up and say, hey, you're being brainwashed. Hey, the system is not working for you. Now, again, these conversations are going to be extremely uncomfortable to do. And everyone should have the right of a sense of dread. So if you want to take that initiative, do it slowly. Don't just bombard people, because a lot of people don't understand what's happening right now. A lot of people are scared, as they should be. But all this distraction of Trump, it has to stop. Trump didn't create the system, but he's a perfect distraction for the system.